Just before you start watching this one, just a little FYI. This is two adults having an adult conversation, so if you have sensitive ears around, you might wish to pop on some headphones for this one. Enjoy. Hi. Oh, it's so lovely to see you and meet you. Oh, how are
It's
you?
good. I'm doing well. A little nervous, but
Ah, don't be nervous. I won't bite, I promise.
okay. I know you won't. I know you won't. This
Mm,
past few years, I've just been emotionally just wrecking, and
yeah.
so this is it's really strange because you talking to me about this and getting those questions, I was like, my answers 5 years ago would have been
Completely
completely
different.
different.
Mm.
Now I really like just even the first question for 4 days. 4 days, I was like, it was kind it's like almost triggering. I was like, oh my
Oh,
God, am I going
yeah.
to have a therapy? Am I going to have a therapy session? Really? I
Yeah.
did that for 4 days. I mean, I went down, it was like 3 o'clock in the morning and I was just down in the shop going, I can't even answer the first question. How am I going to do this? Well, this is insane. I don't have any really proper training. We didn't even have art in my
Wow.
school.
Really?
So yeah, no, we didn't even, yeah. I went to a really
Wow.
rural school that was, ag community. And so we
Mm.
had sports and, uh, ag and homemaking. And
No.
we did have band and drama, so I was in the drama stuff, but I was really into
Mm.
sports. So I really didn't do art stuff. So everything's
Wow.
new to me. So
I would
I'm
never
always
have believed
learning.
that.
So I say ignorance is bliss, honestly. Ignorance is
Yeah.
bliss. If I just go, oh yeah, I can do that, and I figure out how to do it. So
Wow. I would have
find the
thought
product.
that you had been like to sculpting school or something because
Oh,
your projects are amazing. Your animals are just like so lifelike. It's
I
phenomenal.
I think it's probably just my love of nature.
I'm gonna ask you the first question. Don't be scared.
Oh boy, oh boy. Trigger, trigger.
Should be hanging up on me now. Please delete.
Yes, we're done. Okay.
So, who gave you the permission or made it feel safe for you to express the creative side of yourself, Connie?
Oh, that's a question. Um, I thought about this, and my grandmother kind of did. Um, she was, late in life, she started painting and things like that. She was a seamstress and a
Mm.
homemaker. And so she was a homemaker. So she did cooking and she was creative with her
Mm.
cooking, and so she kind of fostered some creativity with me. That's probably early in life, the person that really
Mm.
kind of fostered that. Um, But it's so funny. I was thinking about I was like, my grandmother, my family. And then I thought, that's kind of weird because I always have, some punishment attached to my creativity when I was a child. So is that really giving me permission and making me feel safe? No, it's not
Probably
really.
not.
But they did in their own way, kind of,
Hmm.
my grandmother mostly. And then I would say getting in the art field when I got out of high school, um, clients gave me that permission.
Mm.
So, then meeting my wife just blew me to a whole nother level of giving me
Mm.
permission. So
Oh well.
that's,
Yeah.
that's pretty much it. And ultimately it's myself
Mm.
that gives
Yeah.
myself permission, because a lot of times I'm like, I can't create art for art's sake. I'm working artist. I have to make money with my art. So it really
Mm.
comes down to me giving myself permission, which I struggle with, but hey, who doesn't?
Who doesn't? I've yet to meet someone.
Who doesn't? So, hey, I'm like
Yeah.
everybody else. Yay.
When you say you have, because you've got your business, and we'll link it in here,
Sure.
but
Sure.
your business, I mean, you get some really cool projects and things like that. How did that all start? Was that just you deciding to say, "Hey, I'm an artist, and here's what I'm going to
My
do"?
wife, my wife.
Oh, cool.
Well,
Yeah.
when I when I got out of high school, I didn't know, I was just rudderless. I had no idea what I was going to do. And,
Yeah.
my stepdad was like, well, you're kind of good at art. Why don't you try to go to art school? There's a technical college, in Waco. And
Mm,
I'm like, okay, I could do that. And of course I didn't finish. I didn't have enough money. So I was
yeah.
working, 40, 60 hours a week. And I
Mm,
took, maybe the first year, and then I dropped out because
okay.
it just wasn't feasible. But,
Yeah.
and I immediately got a job at a t-shirt company and
Hmm.
started doing art. And then I moved, into the sign industry. And so all of
Mm,
those things just kind of built up. And then when I moved to San Antonio and met my wife, we were volunteering at a
mm,
community newspaper, and, just became friends. And then when we finally got together, I came home from work one day where I was making fonts for computers, typeface,
yeah.
and I was miserable. And they had just let someone go from the
Mm.
job, and he was so dedicated, and we were all salary, and he would work late into the night, and I left at 5 o'clock, and they let him go. And I just came in from lunch, and I said, they just let Tracy go. And I don't think I can go back there. And she said, come work with me. And she was in advertising.
Okay.
She goes, just work with me. And I went back to work, and I turned in my resignation, and I threw away my
What a great
watch.
feeling.
I haven't looked back. And we just slowly went from advertising into art. When
Hmm.
computers, she's a wonderful artist. And,
Okay. Yeah.
and when computers came out, all of a sudden everybody's like, oh, well, I can do my own ads and all this.
Mm.
And we were so tired of answering everyone's questions about how to do this on the computer, because we had
Yeah.
been doing all this for our clients. And then they had somebody in
Mm.
house that was going to be the artist. And so, it was
Mm.
ridiculous. And one day I just said, are you happy? Are you having fun? And she said, not really. And I said, why don't we pick up our paintbrushes and try to do some art? And it has been a long road from there, but lots of fun. And
Yeah.
we've been really fortunate. That's all I can say, of being in the right
Yeah.
place at the right time. And then also busting our asses,
Yeah.
going out there and bartending and landscaping and doing that so that we could keep
Mm.
pursuing the art. And we finally got a bit of a reputation. So
You
we were
did.
able
Yeah. Yeah.
to do it. And we've had some lovely patrons that
Mm.
we have really allowed us to really be creative. So that's kind of the long way
That's
around
because
it,
they
I
love what you
guess.
do. Yeah. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
going back to your first memory of creative expression, do you remember the first thing that you made creatively?
It would probably be building things from dirt clod after the
Hmm.
fields had been plowed.
Okay.
They left wonderful shapes that you could build up a fort quickly. And,
Yeah.
we made primitive tools and, bows and arrows and spears, and we built dams in the creek and all of those kind of things.
Yeah.
That was using our imagination and being creative. And then we were punished afterwards because the forts were in the middle of the field that had just been plowed. So
Oops.
you have to replow those fields. Sorry.
Oh well. At least I got to be creative, huh?
Yeah, we were having fun. We had a really good grenade fight with dirt clods and stuff. But
Love it.
anyway, but yeah, those just using our imagination as kids. I think that
Yeah.
was building things, making things out of nothing, just
Mm.
whatever was around us. So
Yeah.
those are my
Yeah.
earliest memories.
And how did it become something you were passionate about? You've kind of answered along the lines, but how is there another
Yeah,
answer that
it's
you
yeah, it just
have?
kind of it's just been a process.
Hmm.
It really has just you know wow, just thinking about it. I guess it's just all the jobs that I've had. It seems
Mm,
like they've all been building blocks and leading me up to the point of I was creative in this sense in doing illustration, and I was creative in this sense in
yeah.
constructing things, and then my wife just blew open the door for me. I mean, she really did. I really never painted until I
Mm,
met her, and
okay.
she was a painter, and she had been taking painting lessons. Her parents always put her in painting lessons as a kid,
Mm.
and I was so intimidated. And then she was like, "You can do this," and so she's like, "Here's canvas, paints, go at it." And I was like, wow,
Can I?
I can just do this. This is really cool. And then it's
Yeah.
kind of all become full circle because I've always loved building things, and now being able to sculpt is just
Mm,
incredible. And
yeah.
I just, I love finding things and making something out of it or making
Yeah.
something from nothing. It's just so exciting to me
And you're
and
so damn good
rewarding.
at it. You're so good at it.
Thank you. It's
Oh,
hard to
I'm in love
receive
with your work.
compliments.
I know,
It's
but you
hard.
know what? Take it. Just go, thank
Take
you.
in,
Thank
breathe, don't
you.
go,
Yeah.
no, 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 no. I have been guilty of that, and that's one of the things I've been working on is just being able to say thank you, which usually requires me breaking down a little bit. Thank you. Yeah. Ooh, but that's okay. I get really tense,
Yeah.
but then I
Well,
relax and say thank you. Thank you very
yes.
much. I
Good.
appreciate that. It
Thank
does mean a lot though. You need to hear that.
you do.
People need to hear, I like
Mm.
that the way that is, or that really made me think, or it's
Yeah.
anything.
And why
People,
is it that we take the slightest little, like you can have this pile of nice things that people have said, and then one person or one little comment will come in
yes.
and it will just ruin your entire, and it's like a
Oh
grain
yeah.
of sand in this pile of beach, and you're
Oh
like,
yeah.
I'm going to concentrate on that.
Yeah. The walls just crumble down. I think a lot of it, the reason I kind of have looked back on the reason why the criticism has been hard for me. Um,
Mm.
because I grew up in a house that was very critical.
Okay.
And so
Mm.
it really just it can cause
Breaks.
it's very triggering to me
Mm-hmm.
any type of criticism. So being in this field and doing it commercially and having all these clients, I have had to develop a relatively thick skin, and we've had some things happen that I actually moved out of San Antonio after
Okay.
a controversy because
No.
I'm like, I am a farm girl from Marina, Texas. I can't. I don't need the ex-mayor of San Antonio. I mean,
Yeah.
people in Washington were calling our studio, this controversy and all of this, and I was just like,
Oh.
okay, I think
Moving
I
on.
need to take a break. And it kind of broke me down. I rebuilt myself, and
Wow.
it actually, I've been in survival mode for so long my entire life that
Mm.
moving away from there and just stepping back and it really made me look at myself and say, why am I doing this? What's the
Mm.
purpose? Why did this happen? Are they all
Mm-hmm.
right? And it was so crazy because we got so much public support that I knew it was just politics
Yeah.
intellectually, but in
In
my
your feeling
soul,
sense,
it was
yeah.
not politics. It was personal. It was a personal attack. And so, you
Yeah.
know, those kind of things. It's, yeah, but
And and
little things can just, they can tear the walls down.
mm,
You just have to know that you're good enough. You have to do your daily
yes.
affirmation. I'm good enough.
There's an
People like
amazing
me.
yes, exactly. There's an amazing trauma specialist called Dr. Scott Lyons. I don't know if you've ever heard of him, but he has a book
No,
called
I
Addicted to
haven't.
Drama. Oh, he's amazing. But he calls it trauma tingles. He's like when your trauma
Yes.
tingles go off and you're like, what
Yeah,
do I
yeah.
do with this? But his book
Yes.
is incredible. His book is so good. And, oh, I love the whole aspect of like when we do get that criticism and it does kind of intellectually our logical mind knows that this is not
Yeah.
anything, but yeah, it does really, it goes back to any old trauma that you have and it just hooks right on. And it's
Exactly.
like, I'm not going to let
Exactly.
go until you've dealt with me.
Exactly.
And you're like,
And I had
how do
never
I?
dealt with any of that I had never dealt with any of that, honestly. And
Mm,
so I just took time. I basically just took time to work on myself. And
mm-hmm.
I was like, I've just been trying to survive all this time, and I've never ever given thought to myself and my feelings and why I behave the way I do. I've just react, react, react. And so that was,
Yeah.
it was a bad thing, but it was a good thing. And, gosh, my life is completely different now because of
Mm-hmm.
that. I've just, my art life is completely different than it was
Mm-hmm.
then. So
Yeah.
it's okay.
We learn and we grow. We learn and we grow. Um, how do you remain connected to your art on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis? Like, is there something that you do to remain connected to it, or are you just so purposeful and passionate that it
Well,
just happens?
I go through periods of not wanting to do anything. I have other things to focus on, but it's our job. So, you know, paying the bills is having deadlines that keeps you connected. It's
Yeah,
like,
sure does.
yeah, electric bills coming up and the dog needs food and needs to go to the vet. So,
Mm,
that keeps me connected. But I do like to sketch, journal. Um,
mm-hmm.
I'm always looking around me. I'm always trying to figure out a way to recycle something instead of just throwing it in a landfill.
Yeah.
So I've, I've got just corners that are full of pieces of things that I've kind of made a quick assemblage sketch.
Mm-hmm.
And, though that I kind of stay connected. I try to stay connected that way. And then just the
Yeah.
sheer, I have to do this. I mean, it's my job. So
Yeah.
I have to stay connected.
um, how do you remain disciplined when it comes to creating? Do you need to, like, what keeps you going?
I am a very undisciplined person. So I started playing, I was like, LOL,
No.
I don't. Um,
Okay, no, that's cool. At least you're being
moving
honest.
on, moving
let's
on.
let's move on
Um,
to the next question.
no, like deadlines keep me
Hmm.
connected. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, that's how I keep discipline. You've got a
I,
deadline.
I'm
I'm
gonna get
very
paid. I
deadline.
gotta I gotta get into the studio.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is a motivator
Yeah.
for discipline. But I'm not one of those people that like, I get up in the morning, I have my coffee and I go to the studio.
Okay.
I, that's not me. It may be 3 o'clock in the morning I go down to the studio because I've had a million other things to do that day.
Mm.
But, I do, I do try to stay
Yeah.
relatively disciplined. I try to do something artistic. Usually I'm doing work.
Yeah.
But,
So that's
yeah, that's kind of being
yeah.
disciplined. But as far as my own creativity, it comes and goes. I have periods
Mm.
where I'm very just got to get all of this out. And then other periods where I focus on some other things and kind of build up my art strength again. So I
Yes.
have time to do
My
it.
art juice. Yes.
Yeah. My juju. I find it really hard to focus on things. I just do. I find it very hard to form habits, and I don't know what causes that. But I really have to put the energy into focusing on
Yeah.
doing something. Mine is like all over the place all the time. And I'm just like, my brother, he's very artistic, and he drew a
Hmm.
picture. I'm like, oh my gosh, I want that poster on my wall. And it was a brain inside of a corral that you would have for horses. And I'm like,
Yes.
I need a brain corral.
That's
Do you see those? Give me
I
one
would like a brain
of
corral,
those.
please. Yes.
So
When
yeah,
you develop it, I will
yes,
also have one.
I need one of those. So
Yes.
yeah.
I need one too. I do. Do you have any rituals around making art? Like do you have to like listen to a specific piece of music to get you in the mood, or eat food, a certain food, or do certain movement, or do a
No,
dance, or nothing? Just
no,
you just get into
really.
it.
Yeah, it varies. Sometimes
Mm.
I've really learned that I have a song called Love Climate, and it's by a Native American group,
Hmm.
Potency, and I love to play that and just try to get my body in a rhythm because
Yeah.
I'm pretty dysregulated most of the time, and so if I can get myself, I do some breathing, get my
Hmm.
body in a rhythm. That helps to center me a little bit. Where and then
Yeah.
just listening to music. I usually try to go outside and just be a part of nature and look
Mm.
around me because I find it so inspiring that that kind of gives me juice. Yeah,
Hmm.
I don't really have a specific ritual. I mean, sometimes I'll like, depends on what time of day I'm doing something. I'm like, oh, glass of wine. That sounds really good. I need to kind of
That'll do it.
the chaos needs to kind of go away and just
Mm.
kind of get my brain in a different, I know that's probably not good for,
No, that's.
whatever reason, but
I
a glass
remember
of
when I.
wine.
Yeah, I remember when I was learning. I was a student nurse, and my husband and I would, go out for a drink one night or whatever when I was studying. And by the end of the night, I was like, "Screw being a nurse. I could be a brain surgeon." And Richard's like, okay, honey, yeah, I
Yeah.
think we need to put the
Well,
wine down. Just walk away.
yeah. There are limits that, you
Make you
can,
creative though. It can definitely turn on
yes,
different pieces, parts of your brain.
yes.
Yeah.
Everyone's brain works differently. And,
Hmm.
So, and I have kind of a chaotic brain, and it helps me center a little because it kind of slows it down. I used to have
Hmm.
migraines really bad when I was a child,
Ugh.
and whenever I would get a migraine, there was this sweet spot right as it was coming on that
Mm.
everything was kind of calm and I felt
Yeah.
okay. And then that went away completely. But like,
Mm.
and, I would usually get one like the first basketball game of the season or something. And
Hmm.
I could feel it coming on. I'd get out on the court, and whereas usually I would be very, and I would be a little bit more subdued and be able to actually
Hmm.
hit all my shots. I mean, just get on the court and hit all my shots. And by halftime, I was sick in the bathroom and I'd have to quit the game. But
Yeah.
there's something about my brain that is in a different place. And so I find that having a glass of wine or something like that kind of,
Just. Yeah.
yeah, it kind of just takes the edge off of it a little bit. And
Hmm.
I can focus on something as opposed to being all over the place. I was figuring things out in my 20s.
Yeah. Weren't we all? Weren't we all?
Yeah.
I think I'm figuring more about myself in perimenopause than I was ever. Like I think though,
Yeah.
because I used to let everything bother me, and now it's kind of like,
Yeah.
meh,
Yeah.
and I'm just kind of like, oh well. Are you ready to unlock your full creative potential? Whether you're just starting out or are a seasoned artist, understanding your creative confidence can make all the difference. Our Creative Confidence Checkup Quiz is designed to help you discover your strengths and identify areas for growth. You'll get personalised tips and insights, plus when you're complete with the quiz, you'll get a free Creative Confidence self-tracker to guide your journey. Find the link in the description box below. What legacy do you wish to leave behind, if you want to leave some legacy behind? What would it be as it relates to your creative expression and your art?
I would love to make people smile, laugh, uh, think. Like some of my things are just like people are like, "What is that all about?" And
Hmm.
that's for you to decide. It's not for me to decide. I'm not gonna, you tell me what it's about.
Yeah.
Would like for people to find a connection with maybe their past and their family. I do
Hmm.
um, work with people with their pets and their family with doing memorial work. And
Mm-hmm.
so that is really, that's really important to me. I'd like people to maybe have a sense of healing with it, but mostly I love
Mm.
to make people laugh. So a lot of my stuff
Yeah.
has a little bit of whimsy to it. I
Yeah.
would like, make people think, start a
Hmm.
conversation. We had some people texting us the other day from a restaurant that we did 20 years ago, and
Wow.
they had been having a conversation for
Hmm.
20 minutes about what this piece of art meant.
Mm.
And they
Wow.
they saw our name signed on the piece of art, and so they went to our website and they saw the
Wow.
number and they had to text us and ask us about it. So
That's
that's something
incredible.
20 years ago, and so it started a conversation. I would love that to be a legacy, to have
Yeah.
people thinking and having a conversation and having a bit of a laugh. I mean, that sounds
Yeah.
good enough for me.
What are your core beliefs around creativity, if you have any core beliefs around creativity?
My core beliefs are that every person on this planet is creative. And it
Yes.
is whether or not
Yes.
you allow yourself to be creative.
Hmm.
There, creativity comes into every aspect of your day. It's problem solving. It's just, it's living, it's life. I mean, and I just think every person has it in them to be creative. Creativity isn't always just painting or sculpting,
Mm.
or creativity comes in every form. How are we going to make rent? How are we going to make dinner with having nothing really? We
Mm.
have these few ingredients. How are we going to, so your creativity to me is just all around us. It's in everything, and just looking around.
Yeah.
Something creative went into everything that we see around us. So I
Yeah.
guess that's a core belief. I don't know. Is it?
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's it's your core belief, so it's a core belief.
No.
What gives you the self belief to keep creating? I know we've touched on this. You've said about, obviously the feedback that you get from the people that
Yeah.
you do the work
Yeah.
for, and your wife. But is there any
Yeah.
is there any other self belief that you kind of need to have to keep going?
Whenever I'm really doubting myself, and I, I, I just try to take a little time to reflect on what I've done in the past.
Hmm.
And I look back and I say, well, I did that and I did that and I did that and I can do this.
Hmm.
It gives me, it's like, okay, now I know I can do this. I've done it before. I can do it again. And
Hmm.
I think that's kind of how I see things, because I can get pretty down on myself really quickly.
Hmm.
And now I'm faster to pull myself out of it by just going,
Nice.
I figured out if I just look in the past, just go to our website or go look in an
Hmm.
old photo album or look on my phone, and I go, wow, I feel like I'm not being productive. And then I go, oh, wow, I really have been being productive. And
Yeah.
so that gives me that self-belief when I'm
Yeah.
questioning myself. So,
Hmm. No, I like that because it's like in CBT where you basically, you have I call it I call it our itty bitty shitty committee that we have in our head
yeah,
that's just constantly
yes.
telling us like
Oh,
you're
yeah.
shit and oh
Yeah.
you can't be an art who do you think you are all
Yeah.
that kind of
Right.
stuff. And
Right.
if you can dispute it like you said with past, well actually it's saying this, but actually the
Yes.
evidence would suggest I'm actually making fiction up here because the evidence
Yes.
suggests that yes I have done this before and actually I was frigging good at it.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I like that.
Yes.
I like that. And I think more
It's
people
that
need
I've
to.
been doing it for so long. And then also,
Mm,
you run into so many people that try to tear you down before they've even met you.
mhm.
Like
Yes.
you're that initial time you're meeting them, and they just go off on you about how that you can't do it that
Hmm.
way. That's not how you do things. That's not the right word. You're not using the right word. And they don't even give you a chance. And man,
Yeah.
I work in a lot of construction zones,
Hmm.
and and I'm in Texas, and it is predominantly male, and
Hmm.
there's a certain machismo around here, and
Okay.
women, I have been told to my face a million times, women do not belong on job sites.
Oh
And
well.
Oh yeah, right straight to my face, and they don't hide it, and they verbally say stuff while you're on the job site, and
Wow.
that can really work on your self-esteem.
Mm.
It's designed to make you quit.
Yeah.
And so I had this with my latest project. I got on the phone with the guy who's supposed to be doing something, and I hadn't even said hello, and he went off on me. And I got off
Mm.
the phone, and I was really beat down, and I just went, fuck that guy. I'm just going to do it myself if he can't do the job. And I wish I would have had the presence of mind to say that while he was berating
Mm.
me. Was like, if you can't do the job, fuck you. I'll come and do it myself. But he hadn't
Yeah.
had that attitude because I'm a really happy, peaceful person. I want to have peacefulness around me, and people
Mm-hmm.
there's certain people want to come at you. So that I've learned now to just go. But it was quick. As soon as I got off the phone,
Turn around. Yeah.
I reflected and said, you know what? I've been doing this for a long time. I've
Mm-hmm.
I've gone through this. I now go, what was his day? What was going on with him that he felt like he
Yeah.
needed to do that to me? And I know better. I can do this.
Mm-hmm.
Let's move on and be done with it. So
Yeah.
that just comes with age and working
Yes.
and reflecting,
Mm.
and not giving up, just being
And
ignorant
standing up.
enough not to quit.
Yeah.
It's like,
And standing up
no, you
standing up
can't
for
tell me I
yourself as
can't do
well.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, we have to stand up for ourselves because no
Yeah.
one else is going to do it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's yeah,
Yeah, really.
true.
No, yeah, other people are not. And you have to just realize where other people are coming from. I think we're operating in a world right now that is at a level of trauma. People are so traumatized and haven't dealt with it that
Boy,
a
yeah.
lot of people are coming at you with that energy, and
Hmm.
and you have to decide whether you're going to match that energy, or
Yeah,
what you're going to do with the way they're coming at you. And I'm just trying to surround myself with people that are not
yeah.
toxic positivity, but positive,
But
and
generally positive. Yeah,
they're like, that sucked, and it's going to be okay. So
yeah.
yeah, it's a weird time we're living in.
It is
I
very
think it
weird.
is.
Who or what continues to inspire you? We've talked wifey. We've talked
Yes.
nature. We've talked wine. We've
Ah.
talked. What else continues to keep you inspired?
Well, just living inspires me.
Mm-hmm.
Going
Mm-hmm.
outside inspires me. Working in the garden, listening to
Yeah.
music, watching some movies, I just,
Mm.
I find inspiration all around me. It's just whether or not I choose to dedicate time to see that through, because
Yeah.
I'm constantly inspired. It's incoming all the time, incoming. So
Mm-hmm.
I just look around me and I'm inspired. Waking up in the
Yeah.
morning, that's inspirational to
I'm
me.
alive. Yeah. I
My
said that to my.
knee moves. Oh, my hands don't feel so
I
bad
know.
today.
All these bits ache, and I'm like, oh, this is just going to get worse, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
I turned 60, and my wife is 60 something, and we decided to get those giant bean bags this year. So we have to
I
get
love
up off the
those.
floor. I'm
Oh
like, well,
no.
this is going to keep us in shape.
Do you pull each other up?
Oh, no, no, no. Sometimes I crawl because I did mess up my knee a while back. Sometimes I have to get up and kind of stand up, but I'm getting to where I can just stand up, and I'm like, I gotta work these muscles out, keep myself in shape.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
But
after
I find living is inspirational. Life is
living is inspirational.
inspirational. Yeah.
I remember one
Nature.
time after my surgery, I remember I said to my husband, I was literally on a couch, and to get off the couch, I was so fatigued that I kind of like rolled like a slug
Yes.
off the couch,
Yes.
and I looked up at him from the floor, and I was like, "This is a new low." He was
Yeah.
like, "Oh baby, I'm so sorry." It was horrible.
Oh,
Now it's much, much better, but those first couple of years after diagnosis were awful. They were just
yes.
awful, and I was
I
like,
can
"Is
only
this going to be my
imagine.
life now? Is this
Yeah.
it?" It's like,
And
it's
life can
awful.
change like that, and just like
Oh my
that,
gosh.
your life is completely different.
Yeah, I think the most sobering thing I heard once about changes in life was, you never know when it's going to be the last time you're going to do something. Like this guy,
Yeah,
he was like, I was skiing and I thought to myself, this could be the last time I ski. Not because I have an accident or anything happens, but I just might never come back to these slopes and I might never
right,
get the courage
right.
to come skiing again. So this might be the last time I do it. And
Yeah,
it's kind of a weird, yeah, it's kind of a weird thought, but yeah, anyway.
yeah, yeah.
We'll not end on a sour note though. We'll we
Yeah, no,
will
no, 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 no,
we
no.
will we will ask that your ideas come from inspiration, nature. I think that's the same kind of question. The other question I
Yeah.
wanted to ask was, if you had someone who was saying to you, look, I'm really struggling to connect with my art, I just can't seem to get into it, I don't really know how to start again, or I've been away from it for a while and I want to get back to it, what 3 things would you tell them to do or help them with?
Well, it sounds ridiculous, but just do it. Like if you're struggling, just do something.
Something.
I like to play a game where I get someone else to do it or I do it. I just make a
Mm-hmm.
squiggly and then I try to
Mm-hmm.
make something out of it. And I
Okay.
used to actually do a live painting thing like that. I would have somebody in the audience come and do a squiggle and then I would make a painting that by the end of whatever charity event that was, they would sell it at the end
Mm-hmm.
of it. But things like that, they just
Mm.
be creative. I would say, I like to watch or listen to or read things about inspirational people, other
Mm-hmm.
artists, uh, creative types, and just, I find that very inspiring and
Mm.
invigorating to see, just to hear from someone else what their struggles they've gone through, or to
Mm.
look and see what they've created and the way they create. And it's like, wow, I get inspired by things like that.
Yeah.
I don't know about 3 things. I
No,
guess
those are
exploring
good.
why you feel like you're stuck. That's another thing you can do. You
Mm.
can just say, why do I feel stuck? What is it? And try to maybe figure that out and give your permission to be stuck.
Yeah.
That pressure you put on yourself makes it harder. So
Mm-hmm.
just say, hey, I'm a little stuck today. I'm going to go dig in the dirt or watch a movie. And you never know, that may just free up the
Click
energy
something. Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
but I doodling for me is, I doodle. I just,
Mm-hmm.
it just kind of, and that may be doodling with cardboard and
Mm-hmm.
foil or pieces of wood or just on paper and pen or with paint. I just like to
Yeah.
doodle,
Yeah.
and it kind of gets me unstuck.
Mm-hmm.
Staring at something blank can really be daunting. And so just put something on
Mm.
it. You put something on it
Nice.
and then you can kind of go for it. That's what
Thank
works
you.
for me.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's good. What are you working on right now?
Um, I am working on a family headstone
Hmm.
monument
Oh, yes, you did tell me.
for a family plot.
Mm-hmm.
It's in a historic cemetery in North
Mm.
Texas, and
Oh, cool.
it's a monument. It's huge. Um, so that's what I'm working on right now. And then I'm also
Mm.
working on, this has been we have some patrons that are wonderful. They have really they've allowed me the most creativity. They changed my life as well.
Mm.
Um, they have the front of their house. We're doing a large sculpture. And,
Mm-hmm.
so we've been working on the base that goes around that
Right.
sculpture. And
Yeah.
he's a metal worker. And,
Mm-hmm.
so the design I did is kind of metal. It's mostly metal. And so he's working on that aspect of it, working together on
Hmm.
that. And then
Nice.
we're working on the design of it and all the base work and stuff like that. And then,
Mm.
and farming,
Cool.
we're doing our gardening and canning and
Yes.
cooking and caretaking and all of that kind of stuff. And,
Nice.
but
Life is
that's,
busy.
yes, it's super busy, which is good. I like to stay busy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's
I
where we're at
think
right
I think
now.
it's nice to stay busy. I think
It's
it's
nice to
I mean,
relax,
yeah.
but it's also nice to, to keep active. I went through a
Yeah.
drought and I feel like I'm on the other side of it. Like I feel like I can
Mm.
breathe. I can focus. We've moved us several times in the past few years
Hmm.
and just uprooted our entire lives and changed things. And so
Yeah.
I haven't had a lot of time to be creative. I've built 2 places to live in the past 3 years. So,
Wow.
so that takes a lot of time building kitchens and
Hmm.
bathrooms and all of that kind of
You
stuff.
know
And
what
so,
confused me the most about coming to America was that in every Airbnb I went to, I was looking for the kettle. And I was like, where is the kettle? And Kim was like, the kettle? And I'm like, yeah,
the what?
we're to boil water. And she was like,
Yeah,
there's a coffee maker. And I was like, no, but what if I wanted a cup of tea? She was like, you
yeah,
heat it up in the microwave.
yeah,
And I was like,
yeah.
what? It
Hey,
confused the heck out of me.
we have a
Do you
kettle.
have a kettle?
We
Oh,
don't have a
right.
coffee maker in the kitchen. If I'm making
Okay.
coffee, we do a pour over in the cone thing every morning.
Okay.
And,
Yeah.
then tea and
It
coffee and,
confused the hell out of me. I
oh
was
yeah,
like, I don't understand.
most people
Yeah,
don't.
it was really
If you're
weird. She was
drinking
like,
tea, it's in the refrigerator. Like America's not really a hot tea
yeah.
country. I
Oh,
mean,
weird.
we've
Okay.
more so now than we used to be,
Yeah.
but oh yeah, I never knew you could have tea in a cup. Like it was in a glass with ice in it. So that I
Wow.
didn't know it came any other way growing up until
Yeah.
recently. I just
Yeah.
love it so much. And like we've used it in restaurants and
Mm.
oh,
Yeah. You've done so
I
much
don't
with
have
it.
to
Yeah.
worry. I don't have to worry because
Mm.
one of the restaurants we did in the last 5 years, we have to go back and we have to redo a mural because the wall is just completely destroyed. You know, they're slamming tables
Mm.
up against it and all.
Right. Yeah.
And so, but I made columns to look like old, uh,
Yes, I remember
like,
those. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I made these wooden columns and then these
Hmm.
pieces of artwork. They're perfect, pristine,
Yeah.
and they've thrown forks and knives and run into it with their bus tables and their, all of the things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just hardcore. I'm like, oh, I think I'm going to just start doing murals in sections. Just stick on the wall. Just,
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
install it like tile.
We had someone who did like a whole room transformation. I don't know if you saw that,
Right.
but it was like she did an Alice in Wonderland theme.
Yeah. And we do that in restaurants and some people we do that in their houses. And so this is a perfect
Mm.
product for doing that. I just absolutely love it. We've
Yeah.
done a lot of like dimensional walls and things like that.
Okay.
I was always looking for products to do what I want to
Mm.
do. And I had
Hmm.
found something and it wasn't cutting it. It wasn't really for outdoors. They said it could be
Hmm.
outdoors, but it wasn't. And I just saw something online and I was chomping at the bit as soon
Oh,
as
cool.
and I'm trying to remember if I saw it I think I probably saw it on Facebook.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, and, I think it was after you guys had been in Seattle,
Yes.
maybe, and
Yeah.
you posted some things about it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah. Mm.
yeah,
So, so you found us and then you started using it and you liked it and you've done some friggin' cool stuff with it.
yeah, yeah, I would love to do more.
Mm.
It's really what the project and,
Yeah.
the client, uh, and this last project that I ordered a bunch of stuff for,
Mm-hmm.
I went back and forth about how am I going to do this? And it's
Mm.
different too because I don't have access to as many people as I used to.
Right.
And I'm like, how can I do this by myself?
Mm-hmm.
And then also I had a client who was willing to pay more for the product.
Yeah.
And, I feel more confident because it's going to be in North Texas, which
Mm-hmm.
can get some really extreme
Mm.
weather.
Yeah.
And so, I just felt more confident. I'm like, Wendy and I had a lot of pros and cons about which way to go. And she's
Mm.
like, well, what makes you more confident? And I said, well, I think Tiya would make me more confident because I know that it can handle extremes.
Yeah.
And it's strong and
Mm.
I can work with it on my own if I have to.
Yeah.
Um, and anyway, so
Mm.
I would love to use it all the time, honestly. I mean, there's sometimes
Yeah.
that it just, I just did a I did a base for a sculpture and I
Mm-hmm.
ended up using a carving mix,
Yeah.
but I had two guys working with me and they could
Mm.
mix it and, I was applying it and carving it at the same time. So it went really
Yeah.
fast. You got it done in a couple of days. And so
Mm.
that, so but if I'm in studio working on things, I want to use Paltaya. It
Yeah.
just gives me confidence. And as soon as I could get it, I got a bag and
You
used
liked what
it.
you,
And
yeah.
oh, I was just like, it took
Did it,
me a minute. It
yeah.
took me a minute
Yeah.
because it was kind of a reverse because it's not like I've been using a carving mix and you
Mm-hmm.
can really carve that.
Yeah.
And this you can't really carve. It's more of an
Yeah.
application and texturing with tools. And
Mm-hmm.
I had to retrain my
Yeah.
brain on how it's so playing around a lot of
Yeah.
how's this going to work. And
Mm.
anyway, so it's a little bit different to switch back and forth, but I've been using fiberglass and
Mm.
resins and
Yeah.
polycar, all these coatings. And I'm like, I don't want to use these
Yeah.
either. They're just
Yeah, they're
nasty.
nasty. Yeah. And it's funny because loads of people think that our product has fiberglass in it. We're like, no, no, it doesn't. And they're like, oh, good, because I hate fiberglass and I've been working with it and it's yuck and I hate it. And we're like, no, no,
Oh,
no,
it's
it doesn't
awful.
have. But yeah, it's interesting because Kim's always like, if I had had this product 30 years ago, I would have been
Hmm.
so much richer than I am now.
Anyway,
Yeah,
uh, it's so
it's a
good to
whole
talk to
thing.
you. It's so good to talk to you.
Mhm. No, it's nice to meet you finally and just like yeah, put a voice to the and a face to the just all the things you've done over the last few years. It's just incredible. So it's nice to finally kind of
I'm
get in
really
touch and
thankful
yeah.
for I'm just thankful for having people around me that say, go be creative. And, they may come to me
Mm,
with the idea and say, I had an idea about doing this. We need a fence right here or something. And then
mm-hmm.
you go be creative. And then you come up with all these ideas and you go, well, you come up with
Mm,
these ideas and you go, well, I was also thinking about this, but I don't know how I would do it or how much it would cost. And they go, oh, that's what I want. And so then you just figure out how
figure it
it's
out.
gonna
Yeah.
how it's gonna happen. So that's
Yeah.
I'm just really fortunate. I don't know how I got so lucky.
Hey, you must have attracted them in some way or another.
Uh,
Yeah.